Okay, so the first step to importing our text file is go to the Data tab in our ribbon, select From Text, and then go find your text file in one of your folders. So just select it and click Import. Now, for now, we're not going to worry about these parameters. We'll come back to this at a later stage. So for now, just click Next, Next, and Finish. Just click OK, and you should see that our data has been imported. Now, we are going to clean our data by removing all of this white space, the little tab in front of each of our values over here, as you can see. Okay, so to do this, we use the trim function. So just type trim and select a cell, close the bracket, and copy the formula down. Okay, so you can see here that the white space has been removed. Okay, so the next step is called concatenate. We want to add this data into one line. Okay, and then we also have to delimit the data so that we can convert it later. Okay, you'll understand what I mean by that later in the video. Okay, so to do this, we simply type concatenate and we select the text which we want to combine. So we select B1, add a comma, and then just look, I'm adding a delimiter. So it's double quotes, semicolon, double quote, comma. Then I'm adding the next cell, and now because this is part of the address line and this one is part of the address line as well, we don't want to delimit this, so we'll only be adding a space like that. Okay, so comma, select the last part of the address, end it with a comma, then we add another delimiter, semicolon, and comma, and the last cell. Press enter, and you'll see that the 4 cells have been combined into one line with the semicolon as a delimiter. Okay, so now all we have to do is copy this data down, and all of it's been done for us. Now you'll see that the second line won't make sense to us, and the third line and the fourth line. So we want every fourth line to convert to a table. So you'll see here that the lines that are correct end with a number, a phone number of some sort. Okay, so we'll be finding that now and then filtering it to structure our data correctly. Okay, so in cell D, please ensure that it's D1. We'll be saying we're using a formula to find out if it's a number or not. So type in the formula right, which will copy the rightmost letters of the cell. In this case, we're copying everything from the dash to the last number. So from this cell, C1, we want the last 5 characters. And you'll see that we get the last 5. Now you can discern which cells are correct by looking at these cells. So we need to go find in these cells that dash. To do that, we simply do the find function. Now this time we have to type in the text we're looking for. In this case, we're looking for a dash like this within the text D1. Close our bracket and copy it down. So it's given us the position of the dash in these cells. So all we need to do now is apply a filter. So go to the Data tab and click Filter, and little drop downs will appear. So all we need to do is deselect the value or the error cells so that only the one displays. And this is our correct data now. Okay, so you can see here high tide women's wear of California with an address and a number. Okay, so select these cells and then copy. Right click, copy. Then go to a new sheet, right click and paste. We want the values, so select the values paste option. Okay, so now our data is in a new tab. We just need to go delimit this now and place it into different columns. So select column A, then again on the data tab, click text to columns, and we'll go through the delimited process. Now, our data is delimited with a semicolon, so we'll select delimited, then click next. Then you'll see tab is by default selected. Unselect that and select semicolon, and you can preview the data to see what it will look like. Then click next and just click finished. Okay, our data has been split up into 3 columns and it looks nice. So all we need to do now is right click, insert, and give our columns names. So this will be the name of the company, this will be the address, and this will be the number. Like that. Okay, we can convert our data into a table by selecting our data, going to insert, clicking table. Now my table already has headers, so I can just check that and click OK, and we have a neat table. Okay, so to create a pivot table, we need to import data. This isn't always the case. Sometimes data will be provided for you. But in this case, we'll be importing an Access database. So on the ribbon, go to the Data tab, select From Access, browse to the folder where your Access file is, select sales.accdb and click Open. Keep everything default for now, where Excel will import our data into a table for us, into an existing worksheet. So just click OK, and you'll see that our data is imported very neatly. Okay, so select all of our data now, then on the ribbon, go to Insert and select Pivot Table. Okay, you can see that the correct data has already been selected. We can reselect it if we want to, and we'll be working in a new worksheet. So click OK. Now our pivot table has been created. We just need to allocate the fields we want to report on. To do this, we need to drag these values into one of these 4 fields. In this case, we want date to be our columns, so drag date into the columns field. We want sales to display as our summation values, so drag it into the values field. Then we want to describe our data by dragging the department into the rows field. As you can see, it describes each sale, and we want to further elaborate on that, so drag the manager into the rows field as well. And there we have it. We've created our first pivot table. Now we want to display these dates in quarters to make our data look neater. So simply select any of the date fields, sorry, and click Group Selection in the Analyze field in the ribbon. Group Selection, deselect months by clicking on it and clicking on quarters to apply the quarters grouping. Then click OK, and our data should be neat in our pivot table. Okay.